Can we actually trust Nike baseball gloves? I'm gonna let you know. We're talking about Nike. I mean, they do everything. Obviously, they're known for shoes and like clothing in general, but they make golf clubs, they make tennis rackets, they make kids toys. I lied, they don't make kids toys. I was thinking of kids, like kids baseball gloves, kids basketballs. They don't make kids toys, but they did make the Nike Vapor 360. If you don't know what that is, it's actually the biggest flop of all baseball gloves. Just a small group who loves the glove. They call themselves Vape Nation. Or they're just talking about vape. So as of right now, Nike is selling the Alpha Elite. This is like what you would find if you walk into Dick's. Today, we have a Nike 12.5-inch Diamond Elite Pro. This glove actually has a little bit of a goofy break-in, and it's because it actually belongs to Nick Masset. He was a pitcher in the MLB for a number of years, and he was on like 7 different teams, and somehow I ended up with his glove. So I personally have owned 3 Nike gloves. I've had a Diamond Elite and a Nike Pro Gold Tradition. Out of all of them, this is the nicest one I've had by far, and it makes sense. It's a pro issue glove. It was made for an MLB player, so they're gonna make sure it's really nice. But there's a few specs on this glove that are completely different from other brands, and we're actually gonna be talking about it later. That's enough talking inside. Let's actually go play catch. Boom. So the Nike Diamond Elite is actually really popular for like a small group of people. They have like super fans. It is oiled Kip leather. And so basically it's Kip leather and honestly feels just slightly softer because it's oiled. It's really comfortable. That's just a fact. The actual leather itself is great, you know, 9 out of 10. So with the leather, we also have the laces, and people like to make a really big deal about laces. The way I feel is if they don't bust and they don't stretch out a ton, they're doing a good job. Where that comes into play quite a lot is actually with any trapeze gloves, because if they're really stretchy, it's gonna have this really odd pocket that gets super, super deep over time, and at one point might even break. So overall, the laces are fine. They're good, they're great. You know, they're thick and they're not gonna rip on you. If they do rip on you, it's not because the laces are bad, it's just that it was a fluke. So this specific model I mentioned is 12.5 inches. We've got the basket web on it. The glove is extremely deep, and you can tell because it's pretty tall when you're looking at it from this angle here. And it's really only meant for a pitcher. I mean, it's 12.5 inches. It's just a pretty awkward size. Mookie Betts actually uses a 12.5-inch glove, which is kind of rare. Let's start talking about the weird parts of the glove. All right, you guys, so one thing Nike does really well is they have very unique pieces on this glove that are simply different from like any other brand. And one thing I'll talk about is the little Frankenstein stitching. I think it's really cool. You'll notice there's like the half mesh. That's not that rare, but you don't really see this anywhere else. These are sweet. I don't know what they call them. I call it the Frankenstein stitches. The gill lacing, I've seen those before. A lot of companies will do that, but I honestly think I first saw Nike do it. Please correct me if I'm wrong. The stitching on the logo on the palm, that is not common at all. I don't think I've seen that on any other gloves, because typically you don't want to put anything on the palm. As a pitcher's glove, it doesn't really matter. And then our last thing I want to talk about is actually the hole here for the finger. It's interesting because it's not like a full open back, it's sort of like a half. So I can wear it traditional with my finger out, or I could switch over to 2 in the pinky and wear it out. I already mentioned it, but there's like a small group of people who are like obsessed with the Nike gloves, and I think part of it too is that they are really comfortable. The inside liner is like a 10 out of 10. There is like a little bit of a thumb insert, so it's a bit more comfortable than the average glove. But you guys, other than that, it's a baseball glove. It's just like anything else. The question at the beginning of the video is, can we trust Nike? Because we typically don't picture them as like a baseball company. Yeah, they've been making batting gloves for forever. They've made some bats in the past. Will actually made a video on that. But I want you guys to think about it. They are a massive, massive company, and it's not like their employees are the ones that are making this glove. They're paying somebody else to make it, and they're slapping their logo on it, and they just have brains that are doing cool things like these cool stitches and whatnot. So yes, they're making a fantastic glove. I encourage you, if you have the opportunity to go get one, just to do it. The gloves that are currently being sold online and in stores are actually like the Nike Alpha Elites. If you want me to make a video on it, you just need to tell me, comment, and I can make it happen. But yes, you can trust Nike. Of course, they make awesome gloves. By the way, the shirt will be available soon. Let me know when I should drop it. Nike baseball gloves, they're not super cheap and they're not super expensive. They kind of just rest in the middle. But if you are looking for a cheap glove, 44 is an awesome option. I made a whole video talking about very specific details on each and every 44 that I own. You should watch it. Great video. I go into a lot of detail on each separate one. I have like 10 or something. I don't know how many I have.